start with saying thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know you're really busy and you've had this huge organization now to take care of. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And so just to start, so you started with this idea. You were studying law from what I understand. And you started with this idea to empower women and to build a community, a global community. Can you tell me sort of where that idea came from and how you got from that to where you are now?
Well, the idea came from, and firstly, thank you for having me here. So the idea came from feeling really lonely and isolated running my own business. So I started a business when I was at university. After my first year, ran out of money, spending it on too many nights out. And so I started an online business, which came about really randomly. And it was unlocking phones. Okay. So weird. I didn't even know what that was. But I was like, this sounds way better than any job opportunity. So I'm going to try this. So I kind of got into the online world, started learning as much as I could about business and went to night school and just was like consuming as much information like from Jay Abraham and Michael Gerber and all these amazing people. And I really quickly learned that the internet was just phenomenal and that like there were so many opportunities. It was like going down a rabbit hole. But when I graduated from university, I found myself working from my second bedroom, which I'd turned into an office. And there would be like 3 days go by where I wouldn't have left the house well, it's like a little apartment. I wouldn't have left the apartment and I would have just been communicating with people online and it's not healthy. No. And so I kind of got myself in a really bad place mentally. I felt so isolated and lonely. And every time I went to a networking event, it either felt really corporate or just I didn't really feel like I fit in. Like what I did felt so different to what everyone else was doing. And I just thought, gosh, like I should just create something. So in 2008, I actually did. I put a website together, put information out there. And then I was like, who am I to do this? What am I even doing? What's the point in this? Blah, blah, blah. I was in such a bad place. Honestly, I didn't know what on earth I was doing with myself. Even though the business that I was running was really successful financially, I just felt so empty. And so because I was really getting in my own way, it actually took me then 3 years to 2011 to actually do the Female Entrepreneur Association and commit to it. And those 3 years were bloody roller coaster. I was like that feeling when you know there's something more you need to be doing, but you're teetering on the edge and you haven't quite gone for it and you're feeling really frustrated and you look around there at other people thinking, oh, everyone else knows what they're doing in life and I don't have like figured out and like all that kind of stuff. And that's how I was for 3 years. I got so annoyed with myself in the end. But yeah, and then thankfully I took the leap in 2011, like thanks to a few different things and just went for it and decided to create an online community for all of the amazing women in the world to get together and talk about business.
Well, and then you realize you're not alone in feeling the way that you're feeling, right? And that there's so many people that actually are going through the exact same thing or feel the same way. And it's
crazy. It's funny because like some of my best friends now are people who I've never even met before, but we just know each other online. Isn't that weird? Yeah. Like, isn't that so cool that the internet has created the space for us to do that? Yeah,
to make those connections, right? That we wouldn't have had not that long ago. Like this hasn't been very long that we've been able to do this. Okay, so through all this, was there was there somebody specific or was there like an actual life-changing moment? Like sometimes it's a person or sometimes it's something that happened to you. Like was there something that really, okay, this is going to work. Like this is working for me.
Well, my dad's always been really empowering to me. Like ever since when I was about 9 or 10, he sent me and my brothers and sister on this course to learn about positive thinking and doing visualizations where there was this one called The House on the Right Bank where you created this house in your mind and inside there were a series of rooms and one of them was called the editing suite where you basically go in, sit on a comfy chair and in front of you is like this movie style screen where you basically watch movies of your future and the future that you want to create for yourself. And so I was always really into that. And as a teenager, he would literally make me watch Jim Rohn videos on tape back then. He bought me books like Sean Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teenagers. Okay. He bought me books on cosmic ordering. But I felt like it was going in one ear and out the other, but I don't think it was. And so he was kind of like giving me all that stuff. And then I was obviously, when I was at university, I started that other business and got more into like business development and that kind of thing. But then kind of seemed to completely forget all of the information I'd learned in my quarter life crisis when I was like, what am I doing with my life? But I think through it all, I was just trying to figure things out and figure out how I could live this amazing life and what it all meant for me. And a massive tipping point was in 2011, I was rereading The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And in it, he has this bit where he basically morbidly says, imagine it's your own funeral. And he says, what do you want people to be saying about the kind of life you lived and the kind of things you achieved and the kind of person you were? And I remember the whole time I'd been like searching for my purpose in life. What's my one purpose in life? And I was chasing that so much that I was literally, it was putting blinders on me and I couldn't actually see what I really should have been doing. And the fact that your purpose in life isn't this one definite thing that you need to do forever. I think for me, I'd realized it's like, what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of things do you want to achieve? And I think it's about enjoying life and exploring life and seeing what's possible. I think that's the purpose of life. And so with that mindset, I just kind of thought to myself, why not go for this? Like, I can make this happen. This is an adventure. And I remember as well, there was a quote by Anthony Robbins that said, your destiny is determined by the choices you make. Choose now, choose well. And I just kind of literally thought it's like a fork in the road. Which path am I going to walk down? Am I going to keep walking down this one that's making me go round and round in circles, feeling so miserable or negative? Or am I going to change the story and go back to when I was younger and start dreaming and creating the future that I want to live? And so I just made that decision. And I remember it all clicking into place because this was like over a period of time.
Right.
And it culminated in this one moment when I was sat on my friend's sofa and I remember looking out of the window and all of a sudden it was like a light bulb went off in my head and I just knew what I had to do. I knew I just had to open myself up to exploring the possibilities and to create the Female Entrepreneur Association just to see where it would take me.
Yeah.
Nothing more, not putting any pressure on myself. Like before it was like, who am I to create this network for women? But then it was like in 2011 when the penny had dropped, so to speak, it just was more like, well, this is an adventure. Who cares? So
let's see where it goes. And don't you find that when that sort of clicked, that things just started to fall into place and that the ball just sort of started to roll and opportunities presented themselves and you made connections, and isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Like how that happens?
Yeah, and I felt like the momentum started building because it was like it goes from all of a sudden an idea in your head to an idea that you're putting out there and you're having conversations with people about it. Like one of the key things I did at the beginning was get out and network, and I networked like a crazy person. And for me, it really helped at the beginning because I think when you meet people and you have conversations about a dream you've had in your head, and then they're there going, God, that's a great idea. I really love that. And they want to talk to you about it. All of a sudden it's real. And for me, that really help build momentum. And not only that, those people will be like, well, have you heard of this event? Or have you heard of this person? Or are you trying this? And, it just goes on and on and on. It's like you weave this massive web of connections of people that can help you. And that, I think, really creates the momentum.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's insane then what happens. Although it is still a roller coaster ride.
I bet it still is. Yeah, especially with your new book and everything, it's amazing. Okay, so talking about ideas, like how do you come up with everything that you're doing, like your videos and your content, and just how do you come up with all that stuff? There's so much that you offer to everybody. So where do you?
Well, I am probably the most disorganized person ever. And so this is not organized at all, which I find liberating. You can still be successful and be disorganized. Great. But how do I do it? I think, so sometimes I will batch create stuff.
Okay.
So for a long time, I was running a 10-minute masterclass series where I'd interview other people and they'd share like 3 or 5 tips. And I was doing that for a while, but I kind of fell out of love with it. It got really boring. And I was like, this isn't doing anything for me anymore. And I find that generally happens when you're creating content. It's like, you get to the point where you just creatively feel like everything's gone and you just like, this is rubbish. So I've always kind of like revamped things. And like I said, so there'll be phases where I batch create, and then there's phases where I'm like, no, I just have to go back to creating videos off the cuff and like intuitive videos. And I feel like when I do those videos that are more off the cuff, that's when people will comment being like, oh my gosh, it's like you read my mind, because they're far more intuitive. So it's kind of like a mix of stuff that's going on in my life, stuff like paying attention to what my audience is saying, the questions that are coming up. Sometimes it's proactively asking them questions, like in the community, in the Facebook group, I'll go and say, what is going on at the moment? Like, what questions do you have? What are you struggling with? So it enables me to see what people want to talk about. And it generally is the same things over and over again. And same things for all, it's the same thing for all of us in business, really. And so I'll do that. And then also, if I'm really drained of creativity, I have to go and inspire myself. And I have to start, like, whether it's reading books or listening to podcasts or watching videos on YouTube or doing something, sometimes like watching things in a completely different industry, to just spark some inspiration. So, for example, recently I've really been enjoying, I don't really watch that much, but when I do watch them, like, enjoy watching like vloggers, and where it's nothing to do with business. In fact, most of it's like fashion and makeup. But I find it really interesting watching them because it inspires me to think of different things I could do that aren't the same, but I don't know, it just gets me thinking. And I think it's really important to put yourself in positions where you'll get your creative juices flowing again. And so, for example, like going to a networking, that sounds really boring, but like going to an event or a conference or, signing up to a webinar or a workshop, anything that will just get you thinking. I think just putting yourself in that position is always really good. So yes, it's completely mix and match. And I don't have one formula.
Well, you put it together. It looks like it's organized when
it's not.
You do a really good job of that. I wish you the best of luck this year. Like, you're up to a lot of things, and you're making impact all over the world. I can speak for Canadians that you're very present over here, and a lot of people know about you, and a lot of people I know are members. And I was just at a Mompreneur conference this past weekend in Toronto, and you're very well. People speak very highly of you, and I think I think just keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing.
It's so cool, isn't it? I think it's amazing that we live in this time where we can truly be ourselves and to, express ourselves through our businesses, and to be able to network and build communities online. We don't need a lot of money anymore to do it. You don't need anything. You can do so much for free. And I just feel like it's so amazing, the opportunities that we have, and they're there for everyone. Everyone's for the taking. I just think it's so cool.
It's all about supporting each other, really. That's what it comes down to.
It has changed so much. I think people are so open now to kind of working from the heart a bit more, and just being kind and supportive of one another. And it is so incredible, and I think it'll just create so many transformations in the world and have such a huge impact.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.